Yes YouTube, welcome back to another video and thanks for joining me. So in today's video we're going to carry on with Bert's enclosure. So we've been doing out our enclosure and I'll leave a link down in the description for the playlist of this tank so far. So far we've managed to get this waterproof. We've added some acrylic sheets in there which are 3mm. Sealed that, allowed it 24 hours to dry, and now it's time for the expanding foam background. So if that's something that interests you, then make sure you stay tuned. Without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. Okay, so welcome back. So if this is the first video you've seen from this channel, then hello. If you do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. But we've been going now for about 3 years, all around bioactive setups and aquascaping, and I can't believe this is the first proper build we've done in terms of bioactive on this channel. Crazy. After considering so many we've made, obviously those were made before I started YouTube. So I thought today a lot of you would like to know how I start, how I think about it, and some hints and tips, so I'll include those in today's video, so make sure you stay tuned. But I think that's enough of me waffling on. Let's get on with today's video. Let's get building. So the first thing I do when I come into looking at one of these setups would be that I would try and work out what I'm going to put on the back. So forget about the sides for now. Obviously we've got branches to add in, so we need to incorporate those at some point. But I'm going to try and work out how I want the background to look, and I usually just start by trying to add a center feature in there, which I got some nice cork logs in there to match the branches, which I bought this morning. So we'll go ahead now and look at the placement of those, and then we can start foaming. Okay, so there's our cork branches, and I bought these 4 big ones, so those 3 and this one here this morning. The rest I've had lying around. I did actually buy this one when we did this tank out first, didn't decide to use it. Got quite a lot of little pieces hanging around, some odd branches, and that carry bag there is full of small bits I suppose I use as planters. What my thought was to try and cluster these big 4 pieces together in the back and try and have it look like some sort of structure grown out of a bank or something along those lines. I've plenty of holes in here for planting as well, which is great, and on the top maybe some nice broms, but we'll see. So why don't we go ahead now and treat this like an aquascape, get a hardscape right, and then we can crack on. Okay, so after a bit of sawing, managed to get something like the structure I like. Obviously it might change slightly because of placement and moving it to foam it back in. But roughly that's about what I'm looking for, and then we can then just play it by ear and see what looks best where. But I'm not going to put these right on the floor like that because, as you can see, I've sealed all the bottom part, so the soil will probably end about this height anyway. So I'm probably going to raise it slightly, just about this level. That way then all the weight won't be pulling down from the top, and I'm going to expand all the foam right to the bottom, try and support some of the weight as well, rather than having all the background suspended in mid-air, taking a lot of weight on this enclosure. So I think now we've got a structure similar to how I envisaged it. I think now it's time to turn it over and let's start foaming. But just imagine how amazing this is going to look when you've got bromeliads, maybe some pothos, various different plants growing out of these structures, pushed down in the back there as well, like a massive centerpiece. I think it's going to look really, really cool. But we'll see, time will tell. Let's get on with it. Okay, so we're ready to start foaming. So this is the foam that I use, which is great stuff. No, sorry, touch and foam, great stuff for ponds. Now the reason I like this foam is because it turns out black for a start, so if any of the eco-earth falls away, you don't end up with white spots. As well as then, if you want to adapt your setup, like I've done with Castros, if I feel like one more plants, take a bit of the background out, stuff some plants in, and it doesn't look out of place. So what we do, take the lid off, like so. And you should have a little nozzle, as well as a little straw. Now this is the foam I've used on all of my backgrounds and it's been successful. I haven't had any that fallen apart yet. Now what I would suggest before you actually put this onto the tin is to add your nozzle on first. Like that, just so when you're pushing down then you're not having any spray foam come out. And then just turn it on. Like that. Give it a good shake. Now what I would say is make sure that you try and use this tin up all in one go, just because it can dry out and sometimes you can't reuse it the next day, which isn't the best, but plenty of foaming to be done in here. Now what I will do is get some gloves ready, get some towels ready, because this stuff does make a mess. Silicon's quite easy to get off your hands. This is a nightmare. So pro tip, wear gloves. Okay, so now we've got our hardscape pretty much. Well, not hardscape, I suppose there is. Now it's hard to tell from here because it's on his back, but I thought it would be nice to have those cluster of stumps there with plenty of room for plants, and we'll create some more space for plants as well. So we'll get the background foamed in now, get it secured into place, and then we can carry on. Okay, so another busy day, but finally we're making a start on getting this tank the way that I want it. So we managed to complete the centerpiece for this tank, and this is the way I always tackle my bioactive setups. So try and think of something that will have a nice impact on the tank, and then we can work around everything else later on. So with the sides, we'll be doing the next couple of videos. I'll be adding in the branches because those are the main features and the most important part of this tank, so it has enough climbing room. But by adding this centerpiece as well, we've increased the surface area so we can have a bit more room to climb around as well. So like I said at the beginning of the series, and I'll leave the link down in the description for this series. Now I will be doing this in a couple of different videos, and then at the end then I'll collate it all together to make one big build video, because I know a lot of you wanted to see that, and I know Tim at Tim Reptiles wanted to see that, so I'll do that for you, Tim. But in the next video, we'll be peeling back the top layer of the foam, adding the silicone and adding the substrate on before we do the other side. So if it's something you're interested in and you don't want to miss out, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And as always, if you're a regular viewer, if you can do me a massive favour, drop me that thumbs up, leave me a comment, show YouTube you're enjoying this sort of content, and it allows me to make more videos like these. But plenty of exciting things to come. I think it's enough of me waffling on for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.